Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are breaking down the incredibly powerful no-fluff philosophy from J.L. Collins' book, The Simple Path to Wealth. We're going to get right into a super straightforward strategy to build real, lasting financial freedom. Let's do it.
Right off the bat, the book's entire philosophy is pretty much captured in this one line from an old parable. Now, this isn't about, forcing yourself to live a miserable life. It's about realizing the incredible power you unlock the moment you get total control over your spending.
And yeah, that power has a name. F-U money. But look, this isn't about getting rich just to buy fancy cars and yachts. It's about buying the single most valuable thing there is, your own freedom. The freedom to walk away from a terrible boss, to take a year off and travel the world, or just quit a job that is absolutely burning you out. And this, right here, is the core mindset shift. The whole point isn't to just grind it out for 40 years so you can finally stop working when you're 65. No, the goal is to build a life where you have choices, where you are the one in the driver's seat, and you can start building that life right now.
Okay, but before you can even think about building that life of freedom, you have to face the biggest, baddest obstacle in your way. And Collins is super clear about this. Debt is the #1 dragon you have to slay.
Collins calls debt a vicious destroyer of wealth, and for good reason. The real cost isn't just the interest payments. It's a psychological prison. It chains you to your job, it fills your life with this constant low-grade stress, and it keeps you looking backward at past mistakes instead of forward to the future you want.
So how do you break out of that prison? Well, forget all the complex schemes. The path out is simple, but it is brutal. You list out every single thing you owe. You cut all the non-essential spending, and he means all of it. Then you attack the debt with the highest interest rate with every single spare dollar you have until it is dead. Then you just move on to the next one. It's not a magic trick. It's just pure, relentless focus.
All right, so you're debt-free. Awesome. But now, a new set of dragons appears on the horizon. I'm talking about the brokers, the so-called gurus, the entire financial machine that makes money by making investing seem impossibly complicated and scary. And they do this by setting a few really common traps. Most people who try to invest actually lose money, and it's because they fall for at least one of these traps. They think they can somehow predict what the market's going to do next, or that they're the one person who can pick the next Amazon. Collins has this great analogy for it. People get distracted by the foam, that's the daily news, the stock tickers, all the noise, and they completely forget about the beer, which is the actual value of the solid companies they're supposed to be investing in. And look, the numbers don't lie. Check this out. Over a 15-year stretch, a whopping 82% of professional money managers, the experts, failed to do better than a basic, boring index fund. And get this, 100% of them charged really high fees for trying and failing. The takeaway here is huge. Paying for complexity is almost always a losing game.
Ah, yes. This is the big one, isn't it? The fear of a market crash is the thing that paralyzes most people. It keeps their money sitting on the sidelines, getting eaten away by inflation. But this is where the book flips the script in the most powerful way imaginable.
So instead of being this terrifying catastrophe, Collins totally reframes a market crash as a gift. Seriously, it's just a big sale. It's like all the world's greatest companies are suddenly marked down 30–40% off. For anyone who's still in the process of building wealth, this is a golden opportunity. That one shift in mindset changes everything.
So if we've slayed our debt and we're ignoring all the Wall Street noise about timing the market and picking hot stocks, what do we actually do? What is this simple magic weapon we're supposed to use to build wealth? Well, first, let's be really clear about what it's not. It is not about trying to find the next Google. That is a lottery ticket, not a strategy.
And it's definitely not about trying to guess the market's next move. Nobody on earth can do that consistently, and trying to is the fastest way to buy high and sell low, which is the exact opposite of what you want.
And it is absolutely positively not about complexity. In investing, if something seems really complicated, it usually just means there are a bunch of hidden fees designed to take money out of your pocket and put it into someone else's. So what is the solution? The heart of this entire simple path boils down to one single, elegant, powerful tool, VTSAX. So what is VTSAX? It stands for Vanguard's Total Stock Market Index Fund, and the idea is just brilliant in its simplicity. Instead of trying to find that one winning needle in a giant haystack, you just buy the whole haystack. With one purchase, you own a tiny slice of thousands of US companies. I mean, just look at the difference here. It's night and day. On one side, you've got active management with its crazy high fees, a high chance of underperforming, and just constant stress. And on the other side, the simple path gives you absurdly low costs, you're guaranteed to get the market's return, and you get this beautiful set-it-and-forget-it peace of mind.
And the reason this works so well over the long haul? It's because the total stock market is self-cleansing. The winning companies, they grow and they become a bigger and bigger piece of the pie. The losing companies, well, they shrink and eventually just fall out of the index completely. This creates this powerful, unstoppable upward pull over time. You are automatically betting on all of capitalism's future winners without ever having to pick one.
Okay, so you've slayed your debt, you're regularly buying the whole haystack, you're ignoring all the noise, but how do you know when you're done? How do you know when you finally have enough of that FU money to actually be free?
Well, the finish line isn't some magic number like $1 million. The real key is all about the relationship between how much you have invested and how much you spend, and it's all defined by one simple percentage.
And that magic number is 4%. This is what's known as the 4% rule, and it's based on a ton of historical market research. Basically, it says that you are financially independent at the point where you can live comfortably on 4% of your invested assets each year. Or, to put it another way, once your total portfolio is 25 times your annual expenses, you've pretty much made it. Your money is now working hard enough to support you, maybe forever.
And that leads us to the final, and honestly, the most important question of all. Getting to this point, it isn't the end of the story, it's the beginning. It's that moment where you finally get to pick up the pen and write the next chapter of your life exactly how you want it to be written. So the real question is, what would you do with that freedom?